Hey guys, what's up? We're going to be back at it with episode 6 of Take That L. And today we're going to be talking about things like the Riot Games hack, a 343 rumor that's been spreading around the internet, Marvel's Avengers and their development team and coming to an end, and lots more drama happening in the gaming sphere. If you like this content, make sure to leave a comment on our YouTube if you want to see us talk about something in the future. And let's get right into it and talk about that Riot Games hack that we were talking about. Curtis, off to you.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. As we know, Riot Games is a very big contender in the League of Legends community. So earlier this week, their systems for Riot Games were victim to a social engineering attack. They tweeted out, because obviously everyone's very scared about losing their player data, especially with League. But there's no indication that player or personal information was obtained. But unfortunately, for people looking for future content, it's temporarily affected their ability to release content. While their teams are working hard on a fix, we expect this hack to impact our upcoming patch candidates across multiple games. So that could be big for Riot Games coming up in the future, especially for patches. So I'll kick it off to the next article that we want to talk about. I believe it was.
Well, why don't we take a little bit of time to discuss that too?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tusha's the resident League player here, so what do you think about these hacks? How do you think that's going to affect the most hated game of all time?
So they are postponing patch 13.2, and it's funny because that patch, there's a huge buff on AD carries, which is my main role. So honestly, I'm really looking forward to that patch, but as you guys have all said, it's going to be postponed because of the Riot's being, I mean, I guess it's not Riot's fault for being hacked, but it's like they should just update their security, and obviously that's what they're doing now. But I was just really looking forward to the next patch and see how that affects my ranking, and hopefully I can climb the ladder. But I guess we'll have to wait a little longer for that.
How are they buffing AD carries in the next patch?
So they are changing Infinity Edge and Navori Quick Blades. So before, the power spike was at 60% crit chance, which takes 3 items to build, but now they're changing to 40%. So you can build that second, and it'll have all the buffs that it used to have.
Oh, great.
And that's going to be really good on like Lucian, basically any AD carry that builds Infinity Edge. So Caitlyn, Sivir, Jhin especially. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see how that affects AD carries, because right now the state of AD carries is I'm on Reddit a lot, so I'm like reading all the stuff, and they're saying AD carries suck dick. And
Well, I think
it's a useless role.
I feel like most of the people that I've seen complain about ADCs is that they get bursted down by a lot of things really quickly. Like, they don't have that late-term survivability, and that's what's been frustrating them. But I feel like Infinity Edge and Navori Quick Blades are going to benefit people like Yasuo, Yone, and Tryndamere way more than it would ADCs.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like people are complaining just because they don't know how AD carry works. Like, basically, the AD carry is supposed to sit in the back line and deal a shit ton of damage, but without anyone peeling for you, obviously you're going to get bursted down like that instantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about positioning, and these new players don't know how to position. So they're like, oh, AD carry sucks. I'm getting one shot by a tank. It's like, well, you're not supposed to be 1v1ing a tank to begin with. Like, you're never supposed to be put in that position. So I think this next patch is going to just increase the damage output of AD carries, and hopefully that will make sure that they can deal with the tanks, just to deal damage to tanks, because tanks are really strong in this new season. So I don't know, we'll see.
I thought that they nerfed bruisers too, didn't they?
I haven't really looked into the patch besides the buffs on AD carries, but maybe.
Yeah, and to add to that, I know Tusha was saying about some of the hot fixes not getting moved for this update, but for 13.2, they said a lot of the content they're going to try and stretch as much as they can, but some of it might get pushed back to future, like the patch 13.3 or later. I know they tweeted out too that it says other things like the REASU might have to move to patch 13.3, which is coming out around February 8th. So I guess we'll just have to see, since that the hack really affected that patch network team. So I have to see how it plays out.
All right. Do you want to kind of segue into 343 Industries and that rumor that was going around? And I know I thought it was true, and a lot of other people did. Do you want to talk about that, Curtis?
Yeah, so I know earlier this week, I think in one of our newsletters, we had mentioned something about a big hit with 343 Industries, ton of layoffs across from even Blizzard, Microsoft, everybody. But for 343 especially, they were hit by layoffs and key departures. But we had a rumor pop up that 343 Industries was going to no longer be making Halo games. So they were going to kind of phase out of the community, but kind of be like an overseer. Maybe like someone that just wants to like, hey, this is kind of going in the right direction. We want to let you know. For the most part, that was a rumor, but now they tweeted out, I believe this was yesterday night, that 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. With the way Halo Infinite went, I hope it turns out a little better with 343 Industries, but I know the whole situation they have with their workers and development teams is just a complete shit show, so we'll have to see if this really makes a difference.
It bugs me that you say 343 studios instead of 343. I'm positive it's 343, right?
It is 343 Industries.
343.
Comes out too quick, 343, 343.
I honestly wish that was true, because I played all the way back in Halo 2, and I saw my older brother play Halo 1, and that was part of my childhood. So the fact that 343 really kind of just ruined the franchise has me saying, you know what, screw it. Let's try and move on to some better things. Maybe just don't make Halo games anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe just leave all the good ones in the past, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked... I've been playing the Halo series since it first came out. I never did play Halo Wars, but I mean, my favorite Halo of all time, just to date with the Forge and everything, was Halo Reach. I think that was a very well-developed game, and I know Bungie, I'm pretty sure, developed that game. But I know 343 Industries, when they started really coming out with like their... It wasn't like the main ones, but it was like the side ones where they had 343 Industries made Spartan Assault, Spartan Strike, the Combat Evolved Anniversary, which is good, but it wasn't something that was like very big in the Halo community, I guess, for some, since the originals, you go back to playing Xbox and they're perfect, man. But Halo Wars 2, I didn't really get into those games as much, but Halo 4 came out, that was okay. Thought they really kind of botched the Forge world. Halo 5 I never really got into, and same with Infinite, so really hope it turns around for them.
Yeah, same boat here. I really wish that we could return to formula and make some of those classic games again. I don't see it in the future happening. Maybe it does, but
I don't know. Take it out of Call of Duty's book, and when they remade Modern Warfare, that was kind of the revive of their series. I feel like Halo Reach is like universally probably like everyone's favorite.
Yeah, I loved 3 ODST was awesome too.
Yeah, just like going back and kind of doing not necessarily a remake of that game, but trying to get back to at least some of those core game mechanics and just improving on like a few things that was really important, but kind of getting back to the core of what Halo is supposed to be. But we'll see if that actually ends up happening. But
talking about the death of another series, you guys want to talk about Marvel's Avengers and what's going on with the development team?
Yeah, so I think everybody knows that Marvel's Avengers, it came out 2 years ago. It was pretty hot when it released, but it was also a pretty big disappointment. Pretty much right off the bat, didn't really have a great story. Like the story was okay. Then they kept like releasing like new content batches, so like releasing new heroes, new like storylines with those heroes. All the new storylines that I played on it were like basically just like copy, cut, and paste. Like there wasn't nothing that's like dedicated. Like they released Spider-Man, but like all of the missions were like the same thing as like all the other heroes. Like they didn't have like a Spider-Man specific one. They had cool combat differences, but I always felt like the new content they were developing was kind of just copy paste from previous missions. But they did officially announce that they're ending the development cycle for that game, which not necessarily a bad thing. We'll see if they go on to develop more things. in the Marvel space. I feel like we're just missing like a really good Marvel video game. I know Guardians of the Galaxy came out. I don't think any of us played it, but it'll be interesting to see if they re-engage the studio to do any Marvel video games. Because I feel like it's been pretty lackluster, especially given the success of the MCU. I know it's kind of on a downturn right now, but over the last 10 years, MCU's crushed it, but they haven't had any big games come out that have been super successful in that time frame. So, curious to hear what you guys think.
I was wondering who makes the Avengers games. Is it Square Enix?
I believe so. Let me check.
Because is it the same
It's Crystal Dynamics.
Okay,
Crystal
is it the same
Dynamics.
company that made Guardians of the Galaxy, or is it two different companies?
Not sure.
Okay.
Did you play Guardians of the Galaxy at all?
No.
I have not played it.
No, I haven't played it either. These games, they seem like they'll be good, but I just feel like the character adaptations they kind of ruin it for me.
Not the same developers. That one was
Gotcha.
Montreal. So
Okay.
I thought it was
I
so
know
weird that
the same people who made Spider-Man are making a Wolverine game, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I love Spider-Man, but Miles Morales was more like a DLC. But I'm hoping with the next one coming up, Spider-Man 2, that looks really cool. And if they're making Wolverine, that would be awesome.
when is the Wolverine one coming out?
I saw a teaser for it last year, but it's either the end of this year they're releasing it or the beginning of next year. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
is it rated R or whatever
No idea.
the equivalent of that is for
I don't know.
gaming? Mature, I guess.
It should be because Wolverine is a hardcore hero. Like he doesn't.
Well, we saw that the Venom Carnage thing was fucking like PG-13 or whatever. Saw how that turned out. I swear they're gonna have Wolverine doing like the Spider-Man combat things, but like no blood's coming out. So it's just a bunch of people around, just making like thwack sounds or something. That could be good.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the most beloved, Marvel characters, especially after Hugh Jackman doing the whole X-Men franchise and his solo movies. But curious to
Didn't
see
he
how
say
that
he was
goes.
coming back to reprise the role?
Yeah, he's playing it in Deadpool 3, which is supposed to come out next year, I think, 2024.
I'm hyped for that.
Maybe we'll get to see Hugh
so good.
Jackman in that classic Wolverine costume.
Yes. The yellow and blue, please give
Yeah,
it to
with
me.
the ears.
Give it to me.
All right. I think next up we were going to talk about the NetEase and Blizzard drama that was going on. There's just so much drama going on in the gaming sphere right now. I keep seeing story after story about shit that's going down between CEOs and their workers. Do you guys see anything about this? So, NetEase is basically the Chinese company that allows for Blizzard to have their games in China. So China will allow you to have your games run in China, but you need to have a Chinese-owned and operated company basically watch you do it and then help you to operate. So they're kind of like side by side doing that function within China. And apparently Blizzard CEOs and management let a major deal fall through with NetEase, which means that almost all of Blizzard's games, you can no longer play them in China. At all.
That's huge.
Like World of Warcraft, no more Chinese servers whatsoever. That's a lot of players. That's a huge amount of people who just like all of your stuff just gone. And NetEase was super pissed about this. Like they were really mad, and they literally live streamed destroying the Blizzard company building in China, like wrecking it. Like they went through and bulldozed the whole thing. And then there was, they have this big, Blizzard always has like these big monumental statues that they make for their game. And they had one at the NetEase place, and they live streamed them tearing that down too with like hammers and chisels too. And apparently they were handing out these drinks that was made by the coffee shop there that had, and this is weird, okay, I'm going to have to explain this. they're green tea drinks, right, that say Blizzard on them, which does not make sense. I saw a YouTuber talking about this, that it actually means, if you are described as like having that green tea type mentality, it's like you are a snake, basically. In China, it's a slur to say that someone's being distrustful. They appear to be like nice and honest, but then they're like a backstabbing person. And so all this drama was going down, and they were just live streaming the whole thing. It's gotten everybody riled up.
Yeah, and I see here too, the whole Chinese function for the gaming community ends tomorrow. So I don't know what time exactly, but with the current deal running out, it says that NetEase turned down the proposed 6-month extension under the existing terms, and I believe I saw that it was a 14-year contract. So I'm kind of wondering what the existing terms were, where NetEase turned down having the entire Chinese population drop off.
I don't
Blizzard.
think that was it. I think so. Yeah, there was a contract that fell through with NetEase and Blizzard, and NetEase declined it, but that was because of the larger interactions with Blizzard. From everything that I've heard, Blizzard is the main one to decline this whole deal process. They were more stubborn, and I think what was happening was that they just didn't like the deal that was being put on the table with NetEase, and so Blizzard was really strong-arming their way into declining that extension.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, but this tweet that they took from Blizzard, it says, "It is a pity that NetEase is not willing to extend services of our games for another 6 months on the basis of existing terms as we look for a new partner." So I don't know if it really seems like the way they said it doesn't really seem like they really wanted to continue working with NetEase, saying that it's a pity that they don't want to extend it for 6 months. So it's like maybe Blizzard had plans just to kind of get rid of them and find somebody else. But I mean, that is huge.
I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
It's a whole thing of he says, she says, in terms of like they're just saying like whose fault it was that these contract negotiations fell through. My guess the 6-month extension is, in efforts to negotiate a longer term deal. Because I doubt Blizzard necessarily wants to lose out on the entire Chinese market. Like that's a huge,
after all their layoffs.
There's 1 billion people there. Like I doubt Blizzard doesn't want to be there unless they have like another avenue to, have those games operate in the Chinese market. But like the other side of things, like if you're taking like the Blizzard side, like there's been like a lot of talks around like how the Chinese government is trying to like have their population play less video games to be more productive. So is this more a function of like the CCP being involved in NetEase's negotiations in order to like have less people in China playing
blaming the government?
Completely no idea if that's actually the case, but I don't know. There's just been like a lot of talks around how China's been trying to reduce the amount of people playing games and the amount of time they're spending playing games in China.
Honestly, I doubt that, just because I've followed Blizzard for so long. I know how greedy they've become. I doubt that they even considered that factor. I think they just didn't like the amount of money that was being offered in the deal. That was it.
Okay, but I guess the contrary point to that is, okay, you're paying money to NetEase to have these games run in China, but by not doing that, you're just losing out on all the money that the Chinese market is making.
I don't think Blizzard expected the reaction that they got. I think that was the issue. I think Blizzard tried to strong arm to get a better deal, and that backstabbing really hurt NetEase more than Blizzard thought it would. They probably thought, we're going to show our like strong reaction to this and be like, no, we don't want this deal. We want a better deal. That kind of like negotiating, like, yeah, we'll cut off for 6 months or whatever, and now you get no games with Blizzard and you'll come back with a better deal. And then NetEase just said, nah, screw it, we're done, bulldoze the whole thing. I think it was a strong reaction from NetEase rather than an expected reaction by Blizzard. So,
got it. Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Especially with the way Blizzard's been going. Though they haven't been doing too well lately, and this is a very big hit. So if they can't find something sooner than later, I wonder how it'll work out in the long run for them.
Yes, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Guess, is there anything else you guys wanted to chat about when it comes to Blizzard and the whole NetEase scandal slash controversy?
Talking about this on like a more of a global scale, I just keep seeing the same types of catastrophic interactions between management and developers in all of these gaming industries. I feel like it just keeps happening on repeat in modern times, like we saw with Ubisoft CEO who blames his developers for stuff that they have no control over. You get like the CD Projekt Red issues, Activision Blizzard going down the gutter because management can't figure out what they want to do. And I just don't know when it's going to reach a point where it's going to be like some kind of reset where, hey, why don't we just return to how things used to be, where it worked, where we sold games, and then if people liked them, they bought them. None of this like other games as services type bullshit where the CEOs and managers want to like push everything out as quick as possible. I just don't know when they're going to learn their lesson, or when management is going to keep screwing these things up. It's just going to keep being on the news over and over again.
The way it gets fixed is by these companies realizing that they have to have like more game developers and like former video game developers or people that have done that in the past as a part of their management team, and have like actually more of those types of people making those decisions because they've actually been in those shoes, understand how it works. So they're not just making decisions. Again, we're not in those rooms, but like, a company that's more, developer led and community led to, make sure like player satisfaction is at its peak, and then, figuring out how to make the business side work around that. I don't know. I feel like somebody's going to figure it out. They have to. Like, you can only charge $70 for so many bad games until the people stop paying for them. So
Diablo.
Exactly.
How many more Diablos are they? They keep producing where their fan base just drops off. Yeah, especially with everything that's gone on over the last 2-3 years, it's like with the employee market becoming, it's where employees work. I think it's become so much more prominent. Where like, if I don't want to work here, I don't have to. I can move somewhere else that I know is better. So I think that's why, like, we've seen the strikes starting to happen, where the employees are like, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm sure they've been through it way longer than we've even known, since the stuff gets leaked out and then kind of thrown under the rug, and it's like, this company's been treating their employees like absolute shit. It's like, hey, you're working 14 hours a day for the next 3 weeks because we got to grind out this game to get it out, even if it's not finished. So I'm sure they've had enough of this shit. The people that actually care about developing games. And you just want everything to go back to normal, like Connor said. So, kind of sucks for everybody in this end, but
it just feels like modern AAA game companies are just the meat grinders of creativity and quality products.
Yeah,
it's all about the money for them. I feel like.
I feel like they don't learn their lesson that every single time you come out with something and it's not good, eventually you're going to lose that reputation and things start going downhill. But let's keep it more positive, and we can transit back to some of the other topics we're going to talk about again, like the League of Legends tier list we had in mind.
Yeah, and then trying to bring new things to the podcast every week. So one thing we're going to do, every week moving forward is kind of do some tier lists. It'll be a different thing every week. This week we started out by putting together a tier list for League of Legends AD carries, and Tusha's going to be the one leading that up because he, does all the. He plays AD carry, and none of the rest of us do. So if we were going to tier list the rest of us, or the rest of us are going to do a tier list, we just completely just not have a damn clue what we're talking about. So
yeah, we were originally going to think about having a tier list for some of the characters we were all shit at playing as, but we thought we might keep it a little bit more positive.
All right, Tusha. Ball's in your court, buddy. You tell me where you want these to go. We can start at the bottom with Caitlin and kind of move our way down the line, or you can just kind of tell me which ones you want to go in elite. So I'll leave it up to you, bud.
And remember, all of these thoughts will be very controversial.
I just want to start off by saying I am a mid-gold player as of this season. Hopefully to rank up soon, so base my judgments off of that elo, okay?
You were flat last. You were
You were
flat
flat
last.
last season.
You
I
were
was
flat
flat
season.
last season, but I got demoted like 50,000 times. I didn't even get the Victorious skin because Riot was like, "Yeah, this guy's bad."
Just
You got
remember,
the
we're
flashy,
we're gonna get tons of comments saying, "Oh my God, you're that rank. Your opinion is worthless."
Hopefully, I can bring some insight into this new season and hopefully this new patch too. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's start off with Caitlyn. Let's just go down this list here. Caitlyn. So with Caitlyn, the thing about her is that her range is really long. So I think she's a really good matchup against most of these AD carries. So I'm gonna put her at playable. Definitely. She's just always gonna be well rounded just because of her range.
Yeah, I mean, I
Draven?
play support, so I hate playing against Caitlyn. So
All
Yeah.
right, hold on one second. So
up?
let's try to get like an outline of what we're going for here. So I'm assuming the top
Okay.
is just OP beyond belief, right? They just crush every single other ADC.
Yeah,
Unless
these are
they're
the-
hard countered.
this is top tier AD carry. So we have elite, playable, meh, bad, and useless. So elite is like, okay, they're winning probably more than like 50 to 60% of the time. Playables, right around that 50% win rate. Meh, probably like high 40s. Bad and unplayable, or bad and useless, or just like your teammates trolling if they pick this. If you're pissed, if you're playing.
Yeah.
All right, can we just quickly put Yasuo at the bottom there?
We'll get to Yasuo when we get there.
All right, Tusha, back in your court.
All right. So Draven, I played against Draven today actually, and let me tell you right now, I got mollywopped. So Draven to me is an elite AD carry. Because when he gets ahead, he snowballs so much, he gains all that cash, and he just stomps. Depending on his support, especially, he can just carry a game easily. Ezreal, one of my favorite AD carries I like to play. This might be controversial, but I don't think he's an elite AD carry. I like playing him because I feel like Ezreal is an AD carry in which I can just do things on my own. I don't have to rely on my support. I can throw Qs to last hit minions. I can position myself. So to me, he's going to be just playable.
I
Connor,
agree.
you got anything to say about that?
I agree. I hate Ezreal. He's an annoying prick of a character. Like, I hate playing against him. But I think that he is very, very versatile. You can play him with almost any other support and do relatively okay. And if he gets ahead, he can just absolute chunk because he just spams his shit. And that Divine Thunder proc just does mundo damage.
Crazy, yeah.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I think there are some things that he can't do too well against, though. Like I saw you lose against that Leona combo. Pretty,
if I get
pretty
stun
decidedly.
locked, I'm goner.
Yeah.
Peacing. Jin, as of right now, he's meh. He's meh.
He's meh.
Really? No, I think
Yeah.
I think he's elite.
He's meh. Just because
He's meh.
Disagree. Disagree.
just because Jin isn't good against tanks. Unless he's like snowballs in the beginning and he just like stomps the game, but from
I
my
disagree.
experience, Jin is
I
not
was
good.
playing. What was I playing? I was playing Scion, and he was doing 3k damage to me in probably like 5 seconds. I disagree. I think he will
That's
almost
fine.
always snowball late game. And plus, I think he should be 4 tiers up to playable.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, it's Tusha's list. I'm gonna
This
keep
is
him
my
in meh,
tier list,
but-
Connor, not yours.
This is
Or-
my list.
All right, where we got?
Opinion.
Where do we got? Where do we got?
Alright.
Jin? Where we got Jin? Oh, Jinx.
Jinx is not that good right now. I'm gonna put her in bad, actually.
Weren't you
Okay.
just playing her?
I just played her and my support was trolling his ass off. And that might have skewed my my opinions right now, but right now she's bad. We still won the game, don't get me wrong, but I did 0 damage the whole time. I would shoot my rockets and I just see it tickle the freaking Pantheon or whatever. I'm like, what am I? This is so dumb. All right, now here's an elite AD carry if I've ever seen one. Kaisa.
That's my favorite.
She is really good. She's always going to be good.
Curtis is the most shit Kaisa I've ever seen. Man.
You've never seen anybody more well equipped than me.
No,
For a
you're the
Kaisa.
worst.
I got the KDA all out skin, and with Kaisa, dude, unstoppable.
She's good. She's really good.
No, he makes the
Unstoppable
other
feeder.
No, he makes the other AD carry unstoppable because he feeds us.
It doesn't matter who the carry is. Kaisa is really good just because she deals a crap ton of damage just instantly. Like she can R in, one shot someone, and like her positioning abilities are so good. Kog'Maw, useless. That guy's bad.
I haven't seen a Kog'Maw in
Useless.
forever.
That guy's
That's
bad.
true. Okay.
Kog'Maw's only good if he's got like an enchanter support that like can boost his mobility and range and stuff, but on his own, he is horrible. And I don't even think he's going to be good in the next patch. I don't think that the buff even does anything to him.
I think one of the major nerfs, I think they nerfed something with Nami where her thing wasn't proccing electrocute anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was a big nerf for Slogmaw.
Slogmaw. Slog on these nuts.
Alright,
Lucian is my favorite AD carry to play. And I'm going to put him in meh. Here's the reason.
Okay.
Really?
Here's the reason. Lucian is only an elite AD carry if he's paired with one other support in the bot lane, and that's Nami. Any other support, he's not going to do well. His range is really short, and his damage without the Nami buffs is not that good. So he's going in meh. Even though he's my favorite, and I'm always going to go back to playing him, he's going to be sticking in this meh tier for a little bit.
I feel like we need another tier where it's like a specialist, where, yeah, generally speaking, you don't want to play them, but if you play them in the right spot, it's an instant win.
Right.
Okay. We can have that in
Like-
for next time.
Yeah, like Lucia, Nami, Vayne against like multiple tanks on the enemy team, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got, Misfortune?
Misfortune, after her nerfs, she's bad. I'm going to put her in bad.
Got a pretty even tier list here, man.
Yeah.
You've got
Neela,
Mhm.
that champ is straight doggo doo-doo. Useless. Useless, I tell you. I've played like probably 1-2 games with her, and she's just not fun in my opinion. Because she's like different from other AD carries in which that like she doesn't attack from. I mean, she's got a range attack, but she's like using a whip. It's like to me that's weird. I don't like that.
Mhm.
Give me someone with a gun or something, you know?
Oh, we should just delete her from the game.
So is
That's
it like
what I'm
that she's
saying.
actually useless, or does it just feel bad in comparison to other AD carries because she has the whip?
It feels bad, but also like the only thing she brings to a team is her XP passive or whatever. And I guess her like all in engage is decent, but it's not comparable to like a Draven snowball or a Kaisa
Yeah.
snowball, you know?
And the bonus healing thing, but I feel like that doesn't really matter for an ADC because
Right.
that's not really their role. Like if this
Exactly.
was support, I think she'd be great. But she's not, and it's ADC, so those things don't matter. You're just supposed to dish out a ton of damage.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. How about Samira?
Samira, I've gotten stomped by Samira's plenty of times, and I'm gonna put her in playable.
Okay.
Because even though she's behind in the early game, as long as she gets a few kills, she'll destroy a whole team. Especially without CC, like you cannot stop Samira.
The favorite thing
okay.
about ADCs is that some of the time they're solely dependent on their supports.
Exactly.
Like Samira
Yeah.
with Nautilus can be just brutal.
You chain CC and then she just dashes in and just does her combo. You're goner.
Yeah, and you're just stuck there for 5 minutes while Nautilus
Yeah.
is beating on you.
Yeah. Seraphine AD carry. So I haven't seen Seraphine AD carry since like last season. She hasn't been getting played much this season. I'm gonna put her in bad. Just because
Okay.
I still think that her abilities matter in a team fight versus like Kog'Maw and Neela. Like she can
I want
still.
to tell you this right now: she is the highest win rate in plat.
Is she
Really?
really?
when I was
Oh, it
looking
looks
it
like
up.
looks like I'm spamming Seraphine tonight.
Yeah.
Please, Chad, no.
I
Who
think
do
it
they
was like
play with her?
58% or something like that. I have no idea. I didn't look that closely into it. I was just surprised to see her at a 58% win rate.
That's
But
insane, actually. All right, we'll see.
Is
We'll
it
see.
double? Is
I
it
should look
Sivir?
more into
double?
it. See if,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I
No,
was
you
just
go
I should
ahead.
have looked into it, see if it was more like if it was a high like sample volume. But like I was shocked to see her as number one.
Yeah. So which support do they run with
Crazy.
her? Like, who would you play with Seraphine?
I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean,
I feel
she
like
puts a lot of
anyone would be
damage.
good. She's got heals as like a
Yeah.
normal support too. But if you have like a double enchanter in the bot lane, like that could still be good, you know?
That's what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Like Lux Seraphine, maybe.
Right.
I think I've seen that before. But okay, how about Sivir? Yeah, I haven't seen you play Sivir that
Sivir.
much lately, but
Sivir was good last season, but now she is bad.
okay.
I just think that the AD carries above her, Lucian, Jhin, Caitlyn, Ezreal, Samira, Draven, Kai'Sa, just they deal more damage. The thing about Sivir is that she's really good at scaling, and if she gets a lot of farm, then she can do stuff. And her ulti's just really good for engaging in team fights, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
Tristana, she's really good right now.
Elite
I'm
or
putting
playable?
Tristana in playable. Um, she's also like a situational AD carry. Like you have to know when to go in order to be successful with her. But when she is successful, she just deals so much damage, and her positioning with their R, crazy good. Twitch,
I hate playing against that R with when
Tristana,
I'm like jungling.
yeah.
Holy shit, man! I try and gank at all. Kaboom! I'm like halfway across the lane. Like seriously?
Goodbye. All right, the next AD carry on this list, I ban every single game. And you know that
Elite.
means they're an elite AD carry, especially in my elo, like gold and below. People don't know how to ward and don't know how to play against Twitch. So Twitch just runs the game with his invisibility. Sneaky, sneaky, and he's freaking blasting you in the back with his fucking R. Like you're dead.
You.
And I hate that because my support usually sucks. So they just walk up and just get destroyed by that guy. So yeah, I ban him every single
Honestly,
game.
I'll never forget the time that somebody was playing an enemy team at Twitch jungle, and then they camp mid for probably 10 minutes on me. Every single time I move forward an inch, he's like, "Oh, I was hiding," and then he fucking jumps out and starts throwing me. I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to play this game."
I hate that champ. All right, next one is Varus. Varus, he's been played decently amount. I'm gonna put him in. It's a toss up between playable and meh. I'm gonna put him in playable
Okay.
just because his empowered Q is really really good. It can one shot the back line instantly. That's his
Controversial
only.
opinion.
What's
I
up?
think that his AP version is better than his AD version,
Yeah. Well, his
but it's probably
passive on
because I
his
play
W
tanks.
scales off of AP, so it just instantly deletes tanks, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I'm pretty sure
He's
the
been getting played in
only.
the mid lane a lot too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the only character in the game that his percent damage can outscale 100%.
It's
So
crazy.
he can one shot anyone in the game.
It's funny because last season, during Worlds, people would pick Varus and they would steal like dragons, barons, just because his empowered Q does more than the smite. So you can just like Q the freaking dragon and it's dead, stolen by the enemy team. I'm like, dude, this champ is
That's game
stupid
changing.
busted. But he got nerfed, so they're
Okay.
not doing that anymore in the Worlds series.
right, how about Vayne?
Hot take, Vayne. She's useless. Sorry.
Useless.
Yeah. In the bot lane, especially, she's bad. Top lane,
Okay.
it depends on the matchup. Obviously, against tanks, like she's really good against tanks in the top lane. But just because of her short range in the bot lane and like I don't know, she's just I haven't seen her get played in the bot lane
That's
in
fair.
a decent amount of time.
Thank you for
Also-
that. I do not want to ever
also-
see Vayne ever again in my games.
Also, I'm just not that good with Vaynes. Maybe I'm just biased towards that, but yeah, she's useless at the moment. Zaya, I'm putting in meh.
Really?
She's good.
Okay.
Yeah, she's good. She's especially good with Rakan, who she's supposed to be paired up with in the bot lane. The one thing about Zaya that's really good is her R. She can escape a lot of abilities with her R. And just the positioning and her becoming invincible or whatever, insanely good. Yasuo,
Okay.
I don't even know why he's on this list, but
He was,
put him
he was in the
bad.
list of 80 cures.
I'm putting him in bad.
Okay.
I think it really depends
No
on
further-
the matchup. Yeah,
No
'cause-
further explanation needed.
No further explanation. Well, I'm going to explain a little more, but
Yeah.
he's bad because his range. His range is short. He can only like do damage at melee, basically. Besides his Q or whatever. But if you have someone like a Caitlyn in the bot lane against that, you're just going to be hit 24/7. Just auto the Yasuo 24/7. He can't do anything about it. Zuri, I think she sucks.
Yeah,
Useless
I think she's
or bad?
useless.
No, she's
Bad or
useless.
useless?
She's useless. Yeah.
Useless? Okay.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
definitely useless.
I mean, I feel like Zuri used to be super strong. Like, everyone was playing her, but I haven't seen her at all this season.
Zuri's a very back and forth champion. She's either really good and people spam the crap out of her, or she's really bad and no one plays her. And right now she's really
Okay.
bad and no one plays her, so she's going to be useless for sure. But yeah, this is the
Okay.
tier list.
I feel like we got it pretty evenly spread out. Like, we're not too heavy in one area. We only have a few elites. But yeah, if you guys let us know what you guys think. If you have like any like strong disagreements, if you think Tush is a piece of shit and he doesn't know what he's talking about, let us know and let us know why. So,
Yeah,
alrighty.
and let us know if you guys want to see any more types of tier lists. We're
Yeah.
down to do any types of subjects, more league champs, other types of gaming franchises. Just let us know in the comments.
For sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to transition into some weekly game sales. So this will be quick, but just a few games that we saw pop. Just looking at Steam, kind of what's on sale right now, and this is as of January 22nd. A Plague Tale Requiem was a Game of the Year nominee. Didn't win, obviously. It's $15 off, so it was $50, now it's $35. So if you're looking for a fun new game, you don't have much to play, I think this is a great option if you got a little bit extra cash. Another game, DayZ, kind of an OG game. I feel like the player base has died off a little bit, but still super interesting. It's kind of like a Tarkov alternative, not necessarily like in the fact that it's built the same in terms of game mode, but it's a tactical shooter based more off survival with the zombies aspect kind of in play. So again, if you're into those types of games, good option if you haven't picked it up already. Shadow Hunt. This is a game I didn't really hear about until like a month ago. It's like $25 off. It's like 40. It was 40. Now it's close to 15 at $16 right now. I don't know that much about it, but I've seen really good reviews on it. So
What's the premise?
again,
I've never heard of this either, actually.
I saw JJ playing it the other day. I think you go like hunting around like monsters and stuff like that.
Oh,
There's, like,
wait,
some
that's not the
PvP
full
stuff.
name, is it? That's not the full name.
I thought it was.
I don't think it is.
What is it called?
I don't know. Trying to look for it.
No, it's
Look
Hunt
up Shadow.
Showdown. Hunt Showdown, isn't it?
Oh, I'm so dumb. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hunt
okay,
Showdown.
that makes more sense. I have
Hunt
seen Hunt
Showdown.
Showdown. Yes, it is cool. It is
Oh,
a
I'm
cool
sorry.
game.
Yeah, Hunt Showdown.
I'm like, is this a new game I've never heard of?
No,
And scratch that as well, because Shadow Hunt, which is AKA Hunt Showdown, is actually $15.99, originally $40, so got a little bit more of a sale there.
Yep.
Well, we said that.
I
Yeah.
know. But for
Oh,
Shadow Hunt, not
it's
Hunt
16
Showdown.
and not $15.99.
Fair.
Yeah, I was like, huh?
Completely nixed the Shadow Hunt thing. It's Hunt Showdown, and that's almost $25 off. It's $24 off from 40
Nice.
to 16. So
Yeah, it
take
seems like a
advantage
cool
while you
game. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
it's a
got
mix
Red
of
Dead Redemption
PvP
2.
and PvE.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And then also Red Dead Redemption 2 is $40 off. So it's originally 60, now it's 20. This is one of my favorite, campaign games. So I feel like everybody's kind of played at this point. But, if you haven't, this is a great game to play. So definitely pick it up if you haven't had the opportunity to play it. It's
The first game?
Got a second one.
Yeah.
Second,
Oh,
second one.
Yeah,
Yes.
you get to play as Noah, who is also Arthur. Very good campaign.
Yeah, campaign's super long. It's definitely worth $20. So if you haven't played it, go pick that up now while you can. And those were the most exciting things we had. I'm sure some stuff will come out next week. If you haven't already, oh my god, if you guys haven't already subscribed to the newsletter, we detail the biggest game sales every single week that you guys should take a look into. So if you haven't already, subscribe to that newsletter and you get something in your email inbox every single week. And then the last thing we want to talk about is our most exciting release coming up in the next week. This is another segment that we'll be doing on a weekly basis. Just so if you guys if you guys play a lot of games and you guys are willing to try a new game every week, if you guys are interested in trying new games, we'll at least have something detailed for you to look into on a weekly basis. This week, our most exciting game is Forspoken. Had a pretty big marketing campaign around it for the last 2 months. At least out here in the New York area. I know these other three didn't really get much about it. They didn't hear about it until a few weeks back. But
We want to talk about how targeted that ad was for you when you got it.
It was all over New York. It was everywhere. But it makes sense.
I'd never heard of the game.
Yeah, it's only targeted in New York.
It's an RPG game following a New Yorker that actually gets transported into a mythical, magical world. So she has to find her way home, back to New York, using these newfound magical powers. Again, this game hasn't come out yet, so we don't actually know the entire background of the story. But it does look like it has some interesting parkour mechanics, some interesting game mechanics. The graphics look great. Right now, it's available on PC and PS5. The one thing we did notice is that the PC game specs that they recommend are crazy high, so you may want to look into getting it. You may want to look at getting it on PS5 if you have one, that is. Otherwise, just take a really close look at the recommended game specs, so you're not buying a game you can't play. As always, if you buy it on Steam, you have 2 hours to refund it if you obviously can't play it. So,
quick call out here. Check out Yong Yao on YouTube. He's actually one of the news. He does a lot of news segments on this type of stuff too. And he was the one who actually, I was watching him, and he called this out for me. It's a really good catch, that those specs were crazy. Something, it definitely needs to change before the release to kind of minimize that.
Just for reference here, the recommended specs, just for your RAM, is 24 gigabytes, which is absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
For one game to request 24 gigabytes of RAM. Recommended too that you have an RTX 3070, and with the graphics card shortage, I know that's been difficult for a lot of people to even get something that's that nice of a build. So I think, especially with the way with games, how they've been releasing and have been terribly optimized, which I know has happened with a couple games on PC that recently released. I think for now, PS5 might be the way to go if you can find it with there. But
yeah, if you have a PS5, that is. So
my 2 cents. Yeah,
it's still an exciting game that we definitely wanted to feature. The only other downside is that it is a $70 game, which is annoying. I think everybody is kind of in universal agreement that $70 games are annoying, since there's all kind of mutually on that $60 games are, kind of the standard. So that'll be coming out on January 24th. We'll probably be giving it a playthrough and hopefully doing a game review, assuming that, we can play it on PC. Otherwise, I might just download it on my PS5. And we can do a review there in the next few weeks as we play through it. Any other thoughts around Forspoken before we hop off?
Seemed interesting. Look cool.
Yeah,
Looks good. Yeah.
Also excited for Hogwarts Legacy, but this is definitely at the top now that I found out. But hoping the Hogwarts Legacy comes out on time, or at least if it is pushed back, that it is optimized correctly for PC and the console. So it seems like it is. But we got something to look forward to, so that's nice.
Definitely. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining the podcast this week. We'll be posting these, every single week, so make sure you tune in. If If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell to get notifications for new podcast releases. Then we also post daily clips from these podcasts on our socials. So if you miss it one week, just follow us on our Instagram or our TikTok, and you guys will get the best parts of the podcast and those 1 minute clips. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
All right.
Ciao.
Peace out, guys.
See you guys.